Hello there, I am Man in Yellow and welcome back to another high rank game review. This is a rather short game, but the reason why I still want to show this is because even though it's short and one player just murders the other, it shows Billy off, and Billy is a very common high rank phobie because it is kind of broken right now. It's very overpowered, so most people use it very often if they have it, if not every game, at least if they are trying to win. And in this game both players use Billy, and not only do they use Billy, they go directly for Billy as their first thing. So that says a bit about that phobie's power level. You can see Manjusaka just bangs turn 1, and Bestia will actually do the same thing, which is kind of stupid. Well, they summon a 1-key, but that's only because they can still summon Billy while doing that. And they both just go Billy next turn, which is not a very good thing for the state of the game, I guess, in my opinion. Billy is also very good on maps where there are stim pads, which there obviously is on this one, especially stim pads like into the middle of the map, because there you often fight around those stim pads and it can just go in here and double hit on any given turn as long as it's in range of it, which is very, very powerful. And you can't really go near it if you can't insta-kill it while it's on a stim pad, because it will deal 3 stim pad attacks then, which is very rough. We see Rusty here, which is a very common high rank phobia also. This just counters a lot of things and it only costs 1 key, so it's pretty good utility, and you can also just use it to take points with. And then we see a Cupcake. Cupcake is also a very strong phobia, but it's especially strong with either AoE phobies or Billy, because Billy gets to do a ton of hits, and that means that you get to abuse the damage over and over again. It's kind of like a moving stim pad essentially. So you can do the same thing as what I just mentioned with the stim pad, except you also get a small heal and you get to choose where you want to do it, which is very, very powerful. This phobia is extremely strong even after it got the 1-turn lock. Thank God they did that, by the way. It was so broken without a lock. Here we just see a hit on the Rusty, which is fine. The Rusty is still alive and can do its job even while being hit. And you couldn't really place yourself in a way where they would be able to hit them. At least not in any realistic way. And now Manjusaka just takes the points and starts hitting the heart, because this is a lot of damage. And there's also even higher damage potential with this Cupcake in here. I'm not really a fan of how they moved their phobias here at the end though. They end up putting the Rusty in front of the Cupcake here to protect it, and then bringing a tick out here behind it. I think they should have just taken the point with the Rusty and then brought the Cupcake up here, because that would protect your Billy from being attacked. Since if the opponent walks forward in range of this, you could buff it and then just hit them for a very large amount of damage. So that would be kind of good, but this works out for them, so both options are fine, I guess. I just think I would have done it a bit differently, because the other way you get to put more pressure on their heart and you also protect your Billy a bit. And you can see, like, if you walk up with this Cupcake and buff this thing for 500, suddenly this is doing nearly 900 every attack for 3 attacks and a turn with the Cupcake buff. That is a ton of damage. You can do almost 3000 damage in 1 turn that way. Like, they could literally put this heart down to nearly no health on the next turn with this Cupcake near them, which says a lot about this this pairing of phobies. Cupcake is just very good with it, but Cupcake isn't the problem. Billy is the problem, for sure. Like, Cupcake is also very strong, but Billy is definitely kind of broken. Very overpowered. And we just see a Hevo, which makes some sense to protect the heart here. I think I would have gone Spot instead personally, just because you kind of need the keys, and then you could maybe bring a 2-key in here somewhere, which would be pretty good. You could like put a cassowary here or something else. Maybe you put a corn out or something, and that might help you stabilize because you are very far behind here. The Hevo is like strong, but its problem is that it's just one phobie, and you kind of need to take back a lot of points here. And it's also not high enough power to really fight what manjusaka or whatever. I don't know how you pronounce that name, but it's not really strong enough to fight their phobies right now. I think it's manjusaka, right? I have no idea. We also see a shovel. This is because he is setting up a push on this tick to try and disease this Billy to put more pressure on the opponent. They can also just use it on the heart to do a big AoE, and it works fairly well with the Billy too, like in case you don't end up using it on the tick. So it just makes a lot of sense. I also mentioned this in the last review video I did, but shovel is very, very common in high level play. Very strong phobie. It's like high stats, utility, support phobie for only 3 keys. Why wouldn't you go for that, right? It's very good. Now we just see a bunch of mechs, mainly 1 keys here, and that is because they need to take points back, so they're kind of forced to do something like that. And here the game pretty much ends. We see they actually use it on the tick here instead of the Billy, which is also good. The reason why that is good is obviously because you get to one-hit these two, and you also deal damage to the heart. Dealing damage to the heart there is very strong. And then they even push it in here so that they can do 2 hits on the heart on top of that, just to really put the heart low. And this is pretty much game over, because now the heart is at 1300 and it's taking 700 at the end of this turn. So all you need is 1 more hit on the enemy heart and they are dead. Or you just need the panic points to tick, which is why they are putting a snowball on this tile so that Bestia can't kill or can't go on that tile. I don't think they should have gone snowball personally, because this is a dimensional, so when you kill it they will get pulled onto the tile. I think it would have been a bit better to put something else like a murder wing or any flyer really onto it. Like that would make a bit more sense, because it wouldn't be pulled in. Could maybe put a Maggie and then you could bring another 1 key out or something. I think that would have been a bit better, but it doesn't really matter because the game is over here. But if the opponent had like slightly more health on their heart, you could have done that instead. But as you can see, this now has 629 health, which means they need to kill the tick, put a phobie on this panic point, and they need to kill the snowball and take that panic point probably. Otherwise they just die. And that is going to be very, very hard to do, obviously, to not say impossible to do. They can't even really kill the tick here, I believe. Yeah, it's slightly off. I mean, it does die, but they can't block. So they end up killing these two, but it just doesn't matter because they are dead to the panic point damage. And that is how fast the game can end because of Billy. And I wouldn't even say this was like the best case scenario for Manjusaka. If they had gotten like the cupcake buff on the Billy earlier and still taking all of the points, they could probably have ended the game like 1 or 2 turns earlier. Now some of this was also on Bestia because they went for the hero there and they really didn't have quite enough tempo during the early stages. They ended up with like no panic points very early in the game, which you just can't do, especially not while the opponent is playing aggressive. But it was still like, you can still see the power of that phobia, and you can also see that both players are bringing the Billies for good reason, because that is something you see everywhere at high ranks. So a rather short game, but I think it showcases how powerful Billy is, and like the potential units you can use with it, like a cupcake to buff it. You can maybe move it around a bit with shovel and stuff like that. And we also got to see Tick here do a very nasty combo with the cupcake. Again, cupcake works really well with any AoE phobie, and Tick is an AoE phobie, so they work pretty well together. It's also a very low cost one, so it's pretty easy to get to, which is nice. But Tick is also a very strong phobie, but nowhere near the power level of Billy. Billy is like probably the second or strongest unit in the game, maybe even. Say it's like Doug Holiday, Billy, Le Shovel, and what's the last one? There's one more which I can't remember right now. Kind of forgot its name. Whatever. There's one more that's also very powerful. I keep on forgetting what with the last one of those. But Billy is very, very good, was essentially just the point of this, and showcasing how fast you can kill people even in high ranked games if you just make one small mistake, like going slightly too slow on one turn or something like that. Also showed a lot of the like how powerful Cupcake can be, or any other buffer. Could also be a Gonzo, Bonzo, or whatever, and those can work very well with AoE and Billy. Anyways, that was all I had for this quite short match, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.